Is John going live or what? Oh, there we go. All right, it's a great day, sports world. What's up to all the sports lovers, the haters, the addicts, and the fanatics? This is Larry Patterson for GT365. It's Game Time Sports Network. Game Time 365 Sports right here on GTSN. This Game Time Sports Network. Man, it's been a long day. Mom, what's up, man? How you doing, man? How's the day been treating you?
Today been one of them days, man. But typical work day. But you rushing home to do something, and you sit down right in time before round two start, man. So it's getting better.
Oh yeah, man. We got a first round draft results to talk about. Last night, of course, first round of the 2025 NFL draft was last night, man. A lot of surprises, some trades here and there. We're gonna just get right into it, man. The first pick, Cam Ward. We've been knowing about this pick for like the last 2 months. Um, I think that was just that was the best choice. That was the best choice for them. Brian Callahan gets his guy, the new GM who can come from Kansas City. You know, he was an assistant over there for so many years, and you know how that winning culture is. So hopefully, he'll bring the same thing over to Tennessee.
Yeah, man. This was no shocker. He knew he was going there probably 2 weeks ago when he was playing Fortnite. He's talking about the AJ Brown and Calvin Ridley conversation. He knew he was going there, man. This was QB1 to most people. I had Shador as QB1. But Tennessee, they have the chance then to right their wrongs with the Will Levis pick. So I mean, ain't no excuses. I think Callahan's going to come in there and surround him with weapons. I think top of the second round they're picking right behind Houston. I could see them go Luther Burden here or any another running back to make Cam Ward comfortable. But yeah, I mean, number one was chalk. No surprises there.
Yeah, I was looking at their roster earlier, and they got 7 picks left, so there could be a little bit of balance. Both offense and defense need some guys, so we'll see what happens with that, man. A solid grade there. We're not ready to give grades yet, but that was a nice starting point for the Tennessee Titans. Jacksonville moving up to number 2. They trade. They give the Browns. They swap the first and the second. They give the Browns a 36 pick, so the Browns have an extra second round pick. They also give the Browns pick 126 in the fourth round and a first round pick for next year. How shocked were you that it was the Jags that moved up to get Travis Hunter?
I mean, was I shocked with the Jags moved up? No, I wasn't shocked. I think I had texted you maybe like a couple hours, maybe a day before that saying, hey, somebody's going to move up. Once you start seeing that stuff leak out, when there's smoke, there's fire. But I didn't know that they were going to give up what they gave up to go get Travis. Normally when you give up that much, you're giving that up much for a quarterback. Not an offensive or defensive weapon. You know what I mean? So I wasn't shocked that the move up was for Travis. I understand if Raiders had done it or the Jets would have done it, I would have understood. But that move up, that bold move by Gladstone, really tilted the draft on his head. That pick we talked about a couple of podcasts ago, the pivot point of the draft, and definitely was at the number 2 pick for sure.
Yeah, so a great move by the new GM and Gladstone and the new head coach Liam Cohen. So them working together and trying to change that Duval culture over there. Pick number 3, Abdul Carter. Once again, it wasn't a surprise here. I thought New York was kind of going to shock me and go in a different direction, but they went with the edge rusher Abdul Carter to add to that what I think will be a second, an upgraded version of the New York sack exchange. We got Brian Burns on one side. Maybe they keep Kayvon Thibodeau. Who knows? But I think this was just another definite right here with Abdul Carter going to New York.
Yeah, man, it's kind of chalky. Everybody, me, I had a dude called a couple months ago going to Tennessee with the number one overall pick, but things changed. So I think the Giants did the right thing here, going BPA and not pigeonholing yourself and outbidding yourself. Um, yeah, man, I like what the Giants did at 3. It could have been anybody else that would have did the same exact thing. So I mean, another pass rusher, like we say, to go chase after these NFC East quarterbacks, and but we're going to talk about that next pick they had here down the line. I don't know if I feel too good about that one or not.
Yeah. So going to pick number 4, you had Will Campbell going to the Patriots. That was another one that a lot of guys had, a lot of people had mocking him to New England, and I think that's a good move. Starting out with Mike Vrabel, returning back to New England, getting the trenches right with that pick right there. I feel confident in him protecting Drake May, and it was a video clip earlier that saw him. I guess the footage when he got drafted, and he said he was gonna live and die by protecting Drake May. So that's one of the type of athletes that you want in your building, protecting your quarterback. Um, Pick number 5, Mason Graham, and I was kind of shocked with this one with Cleveland, but I wasn't. I was shocked, but I wasn't shocked. Now you add Mason Graham to the defensive line. We're already okay defense. Miles Garrett on the other side. What you think about that pick?
Man, this pick right here kind of changed the landscape of the whole first round when it comes to defensive tackles. Because everybody know if it would have been chalk, Travis going to number 2 to who's Cleveland, it would have been Mason Graham, Jacksonville. You probably wouldn't have seen the Steelers pick who they pick. It was just a ripple effect of what's going to happen in the back end of the first round, and it kind of threw Chicago off their rocker a little bit, because they tried to get up to 5 to take Genty, which we're going to talk about here next. But the way Joe Barry was trying to get future picks for next year and this year's draft in the second and third round, it seemed like that was impossible for them to do. So Mason Graham being the best player available for Cleveland, I understand it. I looked at some of Cleveland's fan base this morning. They're a little disappointed. Not disappointed that they got Mason Graham, but disappointed in the fact that, hey, we had a chance to draft Travis Hunter here with number 2 overall pick, but it just didn't happen. So yeah, man, I like Mason Graham, the football player. I just, I would like to see him in Jacksonville with Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines Allen, and just have that interior shored up for sure behind some good linebackers.
And he was one of the few Michigan players. And I mean, you're a Michigan fan, so you know these guys pretty well. Going to the 6th pick, the Raiders pick Ashton Genty, running back out of Boise State. I like this one. I like it, but I don't like it because your division rivals. But fandom aside, I think this was an excellent pick. It's you addressed a position that needed to be addressed for a little while here since Josh Jacobs left the building. How excited are you for Genty coming to Vegas?
I'm excited. When I elaborate on this, it may seem like I'm not excited, but I'm excited. He's going to give us a dimension that we probably haven't had since Charlie Garner, man. Back in 2002 when they had Rich Gannon and those boys. If you remember Charlie Garner out the backfield, he was. And I know Louis Riddick on he comped to Emmett. I hate player comps, man, but I see it. I'm not going to go that far for sure. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see what Pete can do what Chip Kelly. I'm excited to see him in Chip Kelly's offense because we all know how Chip Kelly
Chip,
ran.
Chip is the guy right here.
Chip is the key. I feel like Chip had a lot to say when this pick came in, and also ultimately Tom Brady and Mark Davis had to sign off on it. But to take a running back at 6, some people may not agree with it, but I know Raider Nation they weren't um, agreeing with it early on in the process. But as you got to get to know the young man through the media and his background of growing up at Ilium military bases, you kind of like, okay, this is a Raider type guy. So yes, he's not going to run for 2,600 yards his first year in the NFL, but he's going to make you put that extra safety in the box. And Brock Bowers and Trey Tucker, Jacoby Myers, and whoever we might draft at receiver tonight, they're going to have a lot of more open room to do what they do now. So I'm excited. I just don't want him to get 30 carries a game, but hey, you draft him in the first round, you expected to tote the load 20, 25, 30 carries a game. And I hope we extend his shelf life by getting them involved in the passing game a little bit, which we didn't see a lot at Boise State. But I think, he's really going to be unlocked with the NFL offense at the next level.
Right. And like he didn't do it a lot at Boise, but it's not that he can't do it.
Absolutely.
So, it's some spurts that we have seen him do it. And one thing I like about with Geno Smith, going to the resurgence that he's at right now, going to a different location, and hopefully he can play that same kind of ball that he's been playing for the last few years, except for when he's playing Denver.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. And one more thing, what we talked about, some things you don't see players in general. Some things you don't see players do. Sometimes people have to realize, and fans have to realize, at the college game, they're only asked to do certain things. So when you take that to the evaluation process, you kind of like projecting what a player can do, and that's why you see these players jump off the boards or might be slotted this place, this. Their projections, but you can't fault a player for only doing what's asked of you in college, and that's why you don't get the best full version of a player till they get to the pros. So where that's your only thing you can work on is your craft of being a professional football player. But yeah, man, we're going to unlock Genty this year, and when we get to Mile High and we get that schedule released May 14th, we're going to circle that one for sure, and we're going to throw a little money on that.
We will see what happens. At number 7, Jets pick Amon Membo. Is this the second year the Jets took offensive lineman, right?
Yeah, they went with Olu Fashanu last year at pick 11.
Yeah.
And they went back with Membo at 7 this year, man.
So they're steady building up that line for Justin Fields over there. We probably will see them get a weapon here whenever they pick in round 2 or 3. So I like that for them. They building in the trenches, helping Justin Fields out. At number 8, I was surprised. We went Jalen Walker from Georgia.
Yes,
Why was I blanking on his name? But we was banking on him going to 8, and then Carolina picks Tataroa McMillan. I love this for him. He gets to learn under Adam Thielen, wide receiver who's still out here playing football at a high level, and some other guys too. Bryce Young playing great ball going down the stretch. How do you feel about that pick?
Man, so it's funny. It's funny, man. I like the fit. Probably this outside of the Raiders picking Genty at 6. This probably is my favorite pick of the first round, only because you're supporting Bryce Young, and it's always funny, man. It's how the draft process works, man. October, November, everybody was top five, and then you get that draft fatigue come January, February, going into March. It's like he's a forgotten prospect, like, and then all of a sudden he pick up steam again. So it never was a thing to where I didn't think he was a top 10 player. Yeah, you probably could have traded back and got him still, but to get him where you got him at, and he's going to come in number 1, be the X receiver day 1. Him and Xavier Legette, that's going to be, and Coker in the slot. That's, hey man, listen, and they got weapons now, so hey, he can build the defense up at tonight if you want to, but to give Bryce Young a true X receiver, it's going to do wonders for his game coming up this year.
Yes, absolutely. Number 9 was another pick that I was surprised for, but I wasn't surprised that they went that direction. But I thought that they were going to go quarterback. You got the Saints picking Kelvin Banks Jr. from Texas. Um, I like the pick, but I didn't think they were going to go in that direction. But maybe in rounds 2 or 3, maybe today we'll see if they go in the direction of a quarterback, which they really do need.
Yeah, man. They, I like Banks. He was OT3 for me. OT3 behind Campbell and Mimbu. You could have swapped, you know, Mimbu and I mean not Mimbu, but Will Campbell and Banks. But man, like you said, man, I thought they were going Michael Williams. That was me personally, and he didn't go that far after them. But if you're going to rebuild this thing, you got to start with the infrastructure and build from the trenches and build out. So it's a smart pick, safe pick. I hate to use the word safe pick for anybody, but you can't be mad at what the Saints, did yesterday.
That's right. Coming in number 10, tight end Colston Loveland. I thought Tyler Warren was going to be the first tight end off the draft board, but Colston Loveland comes in going to the Bears. I like this for Caleb Williams. I really do. What you think about this?
Of course, you'd like it for Caleb Williams, man, but you know how I feel about Chicago this year. Well, man, yeah, man. Like I said, man, you're giving Caleb Williams his Sam Laporta like they had in Detroit last year. Like we talked about, with Loveland, he's a big body. He can play in the slot. Him and Cole Kmet, and they can feed well off each other. Yeah, man, it's just talking about weapons. And the only thing you really lost from that Bears offense is Keenan Allen because of age, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Caleb. If this is the year you're gonna get right, this is the year to get right because there's like no excuse with Caleb now. They picking here at 39. They can double dip and get Travion Henderson. There's so many possibilities what they can do, but I do like the close to Loveland pick last night.
Absolutely. I think he's going to be special for them. Coming in number 11, 49ers picking edge rusher Michael Williams from Georgia. This is something that they needed as well, playing along with Nick Bosa. I feel like that their defense, by them losing pieces, this is a pick that kind of puts them in a position to get better.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, it's like a supplement. You're retooling up. You're retooling. You're getting younger in premium positions. You know what I mean? Yes, Nick Bosa, he's your dog, but we all know he gets nicked up and he don't
A
be.
lot.
Yes. So you need to get younger, cheaper, explosive, athletic on the defensive side of the ball. So I understand this pick. I didn't understand it last night why they were picking. Like, why would they do that? But when you start looking at their roster and you start shedding contracts, players getting older, you got to bring that new foundation in. And hey, man, if like I said, Michael Williams a lottery ticket. So if you hit, you got you something.
And they got what 10 more picks this
Yeah,
year. And on one of the episodes before this, go check it out. We talked about that they have 11 picks this draft, and then they got more picks coming next year. So this is going to be interesting to see how they rebuild that up.
absolutely.
Coming in number 12, Dallas Cowboys. They picked Tyler Booker from Alabama. I believe you had him going to Houston later on in the round. But they had 3 offensive linemen by the name of Tyler on that unit right now. But I thought it was the best pick for them right now, being that you have to deal with Jalen Carter, you have to deal with Dexter Lawrence, you got to deal with Deron Payne, you got to deal with the others in the NFC, and I thought this was a good pick for the Dallas Cowboys. Boring pick, but sometimes when you have that boring draft, sometimes your season turns out better than what people think.
Yeah, man, and I'm the total opposite of you on this one. I didn't like the pick. I feel like they could have at the least traded down. we talked about on our, on the mock draft episode a couple days ago. Gray Zabel could have been there. They could have traded down and got Gray Zabel a couple picks later. That would have made sense. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like um, they need to help CD a little bit. So if Tet was here, I would have understood it. But you can't help if Tet's not there for you to pick. So I understand I understand the player. I just don't like the slot he was picked at. I feel like he could have recouped something else for later on down the road and got him at maybe 15, 16 instead of, yes, it ain't before picks, but still, man, I feel like you could have got him a little later on in the first round, in this top of the second half of the first round.
So you saying he would have did that way back to the second round?
Well, the second half of the first round. I apologize. Yeah, you could have got him maybe you could have got him at 16, 17, and could have gotten like an extra pick or two and do something with that. But I mean, 12, if you want your guy, you want your guy. You can't fault him,
man. Dallas usually does a good job at drafting and developing, so we'll see what happens with that pick right there. And number 13, the Dolphins go with Kenneth Grant out of Michigan, another one of your guys. This was a start to them trying to get their defense back right. You wanna add to that?
Yeah, I kind of figured they were going to go on the defensive side of the ball to replenish, some of the losses. Calais Campbell not being there anymore. Christian Wilkins signing us last off season. So, Jalen Ramsey could be out the door. So, it's a couple people in that last contract. I think Zach Seiler, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing his name. He's the only defensive tackle that's in rotation that I think is a bona fide stud. So yeah, I definitely understand it, man. 331 pounds, the way he moved, and being beside Mason Graham for all those years in Michigan, man, you can see why they were where they were in the national championship game a couple years ago. They were a big factor of why they won that title.
2 cornerbacks were taken in the first round, and I thought Miami was at least going to get one of those, being that you're trying to get Jalen Ramsey out of the building. So I thought they were potentially going in that direction, but we'll see what they get out of Kenneth Grant. And number 14, the second tight end, came off the board, the Tyler Warren from Penn State. That's a position that they needed, of course. I think it helps whichever quarterback is starting at the beginning of the season for the Colts, whether that's Daniel Jones, whether that's Anthony Richardson. We talked about it on the episode a couple of days ago, how important that position would be for either one of those quarterbacks. So this is a good pick for them. I love Tyler Warren.
Yeah, man. I think this is like the most chalkiest pick. Oh, by the way, we just traded our second round pick. We traded back, so that's interesting. Yeah, man. I think Tyler Warren. He's been a tight end's been chalked to Indy for months, since end of the college football playoffs. So it only makes sense, man. You want to support Anthony Richardson. Like I said yesterday, give you another Dallas Clark in the middle of the field. So this was kind of a no-brainer for them. They was probably praying they didn't have to move up or anything like that. So definitely, I like this Tyler Warren pick for the Colts at 14.
We're gonna fit both of Atlanta picks into this one right here, because they got Jalen Walker at 15, and then they traded back into the first round and picking up James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee, picking up 2 edge rushers at a spot where they have not had good edge rushing play since John Abram. That's been a long time, and they've been at the bottom. I'm not gonna say through those years, I'm not gonna say that they've been at the bottom of the league in sacks getting to the quarterback, but for the last few years, they've been having trouble. Not saying they've been taking swings at it, but they have not been successful at getting to the quarterback. What do you think about Atlanta drafting Jalen Walker at 15 and then jumping back and getting another pass rusher, James?
I mean, Okay, let's start with the first half. I like the Jalen Walker pick. He's a good, Georgia guy. Felt, right there, foundation player. Um, they need the pass rush help. They need the Swiss Army knife. They need the versatility. So I understand, that pick. The James Pierce pick, I like it, but I don't like what they gave up to get the pick. You know what I mean? They gave up a first next year, and you're picking in
Hmm.
the you end up picking in the back end of the picking them in the back end of the first round. So you initially gave the Rams another 20 another first round pick into next year's draft. Well, I figured you could have got probably some better options there. I'm not saying that James Pierce is the best option, but you could have got a Nick Scorton, you could have got a Mike Green. You probably wouldn't have had to give up anything. You know what I mean? So I don't. I like the player. I like where they that they picked him. I don't like what they gave up to get him. If that makes sense. I don't like the compensation.
Yeah, it was a little rich, but you addressed you addressed two positions that two of the same players at the same position. You so that you can't get enough pass rushing. So we'll see if Atlanta improves in that spot. Coming in number 16, defensive tackle Walter Nolan from Ole Miss, going to Arizona. I like the pick. I thought they would have been cool. Would have went cornerback here too, but I like this pick right here.
Yeah, man, I like the pick too as well. They went. I can't think of my guy's last name. I think know his last name Robinson. Last year they took him at the end of the first round. I can't think of
Darius.
there. Yes, it took him. So now you're adding Walter Nolan to that. Yeah, man, you starting to fortify a front seven. You got Zaven Collins as one of your pass rushers. He's serviceable. I think you got one. Was it BJ Ojulari? He's out there. If
Yeah,
I'm not,
Ojulari.
he's out there. So hey, man, you're starting to build a front, a front seven. I would love to see them go offensive line here to help keep Kyler Murray upright instead of him running around looking like a toddler when he got to scramble. But hey, man, like as we said at our mock draft, what 2 days ago, a day ago, trenches is the name of the game in the league right now. So I can't fault them at all.
Absolutely. Coming in at number 17, Shamar Stewart. And there were a lot of questions about the production at Texas A&M. I don't think this is a Trey Hendrickson replacement pick right here. Uh, will they trade Trey Hendrickson? I don't. They don't want to,
Right,
but I do think that if we're going along in this draft and they picking up another edge rusher, I don't know whether they picked already or not, but if they pick up another edge rusher, I'm asking questions
right.
about what is this team doing. But I like the pick because of the potential, because of the need. You lose Sam Hubbard to do the retirement, so I like that you at least addressed it.
Yeah, man. I know we talked about Shamar Stewart off camera before the draft. Hey, man, his range is 10 to whatever. Of course, in my mock draft, I took Mike Green, but right here, but he has off the field issues. But we know what that is, but we're not gonna speak on that. And you
Hey, you
evidently,
was in the ballpark though.
yeah, I was in the ballpark for sure. But yeah, man, I can definitely see this being this the type of pick right here. As an organization with the production that he had in college, this is the type of pick that you make when your defensive line coach has some skin in the game. That if this pick go wrong, we took a shot, we swung, and we missed. Because when you make picks like this, these owners ain't got no patience, man. Like, okay, you wasted my first week. This capital, we wasted capital. You out of there.
Yeah,
So you know what I mean. So this one of the type of picks of the D line had the defensive line coach and the scout, the area scout for this guy right here had to be on the table, pounding. Hey, I got faith in my defensive line coach and our defensive coordinator to get the best out of this guy. Like I say, do I believe he's going to be a replacement for Trey Henderson this year? I think they're going to, figure out a way to get it done. Maybe do some type of maneuvering in Trey's contract to make him happy this year. Make this one last hurrah, and if it don't work out, they cut ties next year, and then Shamar Stewart. Shamar Stewart take over for him. So yeah, I can definitely see this. Hey, we're gonna get it together one more year, see if we can work something out, and then 2026, roll out Shamar Stewart as being pass rush, edge one for the
Um, I like something interesting that you said, and as the owner, you said the owners are getting impatient. Uh, do you think why? I know why, but I just want to get your opinion on, like, it seems like the microwave effect, like they want it right now, and
Yeah, man.
is that due to Kansas City's success? How they seeing Patrick Mahomes, the way he was drafted, and then seeing the success that he's got now? Like, I guess they're thinking that they can produce him just like that.
Yeah, man. I think it's a little bit of that, and it's a little bit of what's the next hot thing coming down the pipe. You know what I mean? Who's the next hot coach? Who's the next what skill position is taking the league by storm? Like last year, um, the resurgence of the running back. You know, Saquon. The Jacobs, the Camaras, the top dogs in the league. Now you got homeboys, Janty, he going in the top 10 when, people scoffed at that, what, 10 years ago? Don't nobody take no running back in the top 10. They're a dime a dozen. You can find them anywhere. And I just think
Right.
everything's a copycat league. The league is a copycat league. If Philly's finding success doing this, Kansas City finding success doing this, and it's the same team that's in the tournament every January and February, these owners are sitting back saying, hey, what are we missing on our end? Why are we missing the boat? And what can we learn from these teams like the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Eagles, Cowboys, the 49ers, the teams that stay in it in January and
Why
February?
are they so damn good?
Why are they so good? You know what I mean? And they're just trying to emulate that. It could be one guy, one position on that certain team that's, being the difference making of you winning a Super Bowl or losing Super Bowl. Like, for example, the Eagles. What did they trenches? They Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Brandon Graham, Jalix Hunt, Josh Sweat, N'Kobe Dean, what's my boy name that came from the Saints that got a bag this year? Zach Bond, front seven, front seven. And they see what they did to the mighty Kansas City Chiefs. That's the head of the snake. We have to beat that. We have to get there. If we want to get there, this is what we got to do. So let's go get that. And they're trying to find, results and get people to hurry up. Let's get there and get those type of players. And then when it don't work out, the whole regime is gone. And you got to start all over again. So I think the owners are a little impatient, but they want to win as well too, because we all know the money on the field just as important as the money off the field, because you're investing millions and millions and millions of dollars into these players, and they got contracts and sponsorships everywhere. They just want to get the best of the best out of their players and get their money's worth out of these players they sign these checks to. So that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but this is how I see it right now.
Hey man, that's what it's all about, man. Getting your opinion on it. Number 18 was a pick that we both kind of figured out. Seattle Seahawks take guard Gray Zabel from North Dakota State. I think this was already a definite. Helps Sam Darnold, especially on the interior. So we'll see what happens with that one. Coming in at number 19, Emeka Ibuka from Ohio State. The Buccaneers select him, and I get the pick because Mike Evans is not going to be around forever. Chris Godwin is coming off of the season-ending injury. He's not getting any younger. So why not keep loading up the regime? So I like what they did there with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, man, I like it too. I would have loved to have seen Jihad Campbell here. to be a heir apparent to Levante David. But I do understand that Mike Evans up there in age. Chris God, he coming off ankle surgery, so
And Davis getting older too.
yeah. And then you got Jalen McMillan, just played well as a rookie last year. So after something happened to Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, knock on wood, Lord forbid something happens, it get a little spooky after that. You know what I mean? And you've seen how they struggled last year to get the passing game going after Chris Godwin was out a couple games with Mike Evans. He gets nicked up as well. He missed a few games here and there. So I do understand the pick after me sitting back and having time to process and take it in. But yeah, man, I mean, I would love to see Booker in Houston with CJ Stroud, but Tampa beat him to the punch.
Hey man, another weapon for Baker Mayfield. We'll see how that offense rolls. He's been doing pretty good so far for the last couple of years. Coming in at number 20, the Broncos select cornerback Jahdae Barron. I try not to smile, but I look, actually after the Cowboys pick, I went to sleep.
Yeah, you did. I was texting you. I was like, "Yo, my boy, man." I was like, "Yo, my man going to bed, man. He out of here." I was at like that quarter to 10. I was talking to myself over there. My man out of here, man. But I thugged it out through all 32 picks, man. I thugged it out, man. But like, yeah, 9:45, my boy was gone, man.
Hey man, you a trooper, man. You a true trooper, man. Because that TV was watching me, man.
I said, yeah, my boy over there. He over there calling the cows, but I know he out of there.
But I remember telling you this a couple weeks ago that I really like Jahdae Barron.
Yeah, he did.
And of course, when leading up to the draft, you want a lot of players. Especially with you got a need here at this position, you got a need over here. But Jahdae Barron was always one of those players that I looked at even before I watched the film on him. I'm like, yo, he fits perfectly in Denver. Especially Riley Moss kind of gave us flashes in the beginning of the season, but then toward the end of the season, after he got hurt, when Joe Burrow was just straight cooking him, Josh Allen cooking him in the playoffs. And I think that the Vance Joseph and Sean Payton looked and said, hey, George Payton, they all looked and said, hey, we got to see Patrick Mahomes twice a year. We got to see Justin Herbert twice a year. And now Geno has been playing good ball over the past couple. Now he's in our division. We got to see him twice a year. So I love it. I love the pick, and we can pick running back. We can go receiver. We can go tight end later on. But I think for us to pick Jahdae Barron, I think this is a home run hit right here.
Yeah. Paul, bro, the Bears just took Luther Burden at pick 39.
Wow.
Bro. But yes, man.
Wow.
Oh Jesus! All right, yeah, it's getting scary now. But yes, man, back to the Broncos and Jahdae Barron. I mean, your boy Albright, he had a top 10. He reported that Broncos had a top 10 grade on Jahdae Barron coming in. So to get him at 20, 21, 20, great pick, man. Me being, I'm an Orange Crush hater. I'm always gonna be a hater on the Broncos. But man, I like the pick, man. If you're gonna make a strength, this is the way to do it. Yeah, I would have loved to see them to get Bo Nix a weapon or two, but you got other. I understand it.
You got him on one side, Patrick Surtain on the other side. Like, man, that's gonna be crazy. Since you gave us the update on Luther Burden to the Bears, I didn't really want to do this like this. The Patriots.
Travion Henderson. I ain't say nothing. I didn't say anything because we were talking, but
oh man, they not playing, man. Coming in number 21. This was a pick that I thought was definite for Shedeur Sanders. But instead, the Steelers went with the defensive tackle, Derek Harmon, out of Oregon. A guy who I had mocked at first, but this was a head scratcher right here, man.
Yeah. I see why you say it's a head scratcher. The obvious choice would have been quarterback.
But I understand.
But yes, but you got to remember, T.J. Watt, he could be unhappy. Hayward, he's 40 now. He's not going to be playing forever. You know what I mean? Who else? The other, I can't think of the guy named from A&M. The other tackle, he's up and coming. I can't think of his name right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, man, you had to get But like you said, what was the Steelers' issue last year in the second half of the season? They were scoring 30 and 40 points a game, but they was giving up 38, 39, 40 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to do something on the defensive side of the ball. I think they're pretty good at corner with Darius Slay and Joey Porter Jr. You got all pro Minka Fitzpatrick. Your linebacker core, you always gonna have good linebackers. So man, and bolster your interior defensive line, man. So I like the pick. I would have loved to see Walter Nolan go to them, but he went to Arizona a couple of picks before. But I mean, I'm not upset at that Derek Harmon pick at
all. My coming in number 22, the Chargers take Amari Hampton from North Carolina. This one, I got mixed ones about this one. I thought they were going to potentially go defensive tackle. But for them to go Amari and Hampton when you already have Najee Harris now, I know Najee Harris is not what we expected Najee Harris to be.
Sure.
But with Hampton back there, and then you got Harris in those goal line situations, short yardage, oh, man.
Yeah, it's
that's huge for Harbaugh. Like he loading up.
Yeah, man. First and goal at the 5 for the Chargers is automatic 6 now between those two. And you know what I'm saying? Like Hampton, of course, I'm gonna be a hater again. I mean, AFC West, man. I don't want to tackle Amari Hampton twice a year, man. But it was a bowling ball, man. He's Chubb like, So I mean, it's a good pickup. It's right up the alley of Jim Harbaugh, or John. I can't remember which one it is, but one of the Harbaugh boys. I get them mixed up. I'm getting out there in old age. Forgive me. But par for the
John
course.
in Baltimore.
John, yeah. So Jim. So par for the course. Taking a running back. It was no secret that they was looking at a running back. Everybody knew that. The league knew that. So I mean, Mario Hampton was RB2 in some people's eyes. So I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. Wow, Tyler Shuck went before Shador, so it might get spooky out here.
Wow, are you serious?
Yeah. It might get spooky out here for Shador now, because, yeah.
They were talking earlier like Shador might go to LA. And that way he can learn behind Matthew Stafford.
I just don't see where Chicago, the Jets, San Francisco, Dallas, Indy, the Rams, Arizona, Las Vegas. So Rams. Unless they want to come up and get them.
I mean, Gino can't play forever,
Gino can't play forever, but guess what? Guess who else ain't got picked? Milroe ain't got picked yet either.
That is true. That is true. What pick are we at?
23.
23. We at. Okay, so this was one of the more electric. I know I was asleep, so I caught the glimpse of it this morning. But Matthew Golden, wide receiver from Texas, heads to Green Bay, and I think the crowd went crazy. So of course you would be a witness to that because you watched it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first wide receiver they picked since, what was it?
2002.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. That's
I like this for them though because they already have the speed. Got Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs. What's my other dude name? Jalen. Is it Jaden?
Jalen Reed.
Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed.
Jaden Reed. Excuse me.
You got my man from UVA.
Yes. They have a core. They have a receiver core.
We're getting on names tonight, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, this night too. We've been running hard at this, chat. We've been running hard at this world for the last. It's been a while, man. And then we just got we got fog in our head now, man. So forgive us, man. We doing the best we can. We powering through. But yeah, man, Green Bay, man. I thought they were gonna go Harrison, the corner, knowing that the a Jair situation might get a little spooky for them and they might move him. But I can definitely see Matthew Golden being running that slot. Might be wide receiver one, depending on what they do with Christian Watson out there. Christian Watson, he stay hurt all the time. He's inconsistent. He hands a little soft, a little lazy. So I mean, yeah, man, I like the pick for the Packers at 23.
Because they really don't truly have a number one, if you really look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he could be that piece, that main piece for Jordan Love. Going number 24, Donovan Jackson, guard from Ohio State, to help bolster that line at Minnesota. I think it's a good pick. Help out JJ McCarthy if he is the starter. So I thought that was a good pick there for them. The Giants moved back into the first round to select Jackson Dart. I will say, why you laughing?
I got some for this. I got some for this. I got a lot to say about this pick, but go
ahead. This could have been an opportunity for them to get Shador, but share your thoughts, brother.
So you really gonna sit here and tell me with a straight face that Shador is QB3 on the Giants board? Because essentially what you've done, you passed on. You're not getting Cam Ward. You didn't draft him at 3. You traded back into the first round, which which was stupid in itself. You just did it against yourself, because where you picked them at, every other team has a playoff. There's a playoff team, and they have quarterbacks already. The Vikings got JJ. Everybody else is in the playoffs. So you were bidding against. This is my opinion now. You were bidding against yourself. You could have had. You were picking 34 or whatever the case may be on round 2. I understand you want to get the fifth year option, right? I get all that, but you could have got him in the second round with no problem, without giving up any capital. And we all know how Lane Kiffin's offense is in Ole Miss. He's going to get you 15 completions just off him being a wizard on the offensive side of the ball. You trusting that? Do Dayball see Josh Allen traits and Jackson Dart? Then you come out and say Russell Wilson's your starter day one this year. I understand that, but you have James Winston there as well. So is Jackson Dart going to be QB3 going into this year? So you drafted a quarterback in the first round that's going to be QB3 coming up this fall. That just didn't make sense. I didn't like it. It's not that I don't like Jackson Dart, the player. Once again, like I said with Atlanta and James Pierce, I just hate the fact of where he got picked and the value that got given up for him, if that makes
sense. I think with a franchise like the Giants, they do crazy things anyway. But for them to add Jameis and then you add another quarterback in Russ there, and then so basically, like you could have just went the rest of the season. I mean, start out the season with just your veteran quarterbacks. Like you didn't even have to bring Jackson Dart into this. But here's my thing: I think Jackson Dart will probably start the season. I think that's what I'm thinking. Because you never know, how they're going to be in preseason, training camp, preseason, all that. You just never know. I got a question, a comment from Andre Leistra. He says, "Is Sanders really an NFL quarterback? Y'all think he have this popularity without his pops?"
I, is he a? Yes, he's an NFL quarterback. If
He is.
he is, but if you take the name Sanders off the back of his jersey and put Washington on the back of his jersey, and you watch tape from Jackson State and you watch tape from Colorado this year, he's going in the first 32 picks. Yeah, he might not be a top 10 pick, top 5 pick, but there's enough there to where you're going to take a swing on him in the first round. I think by his dad being Dion and knowing how flamboyant Dion is, that hurt him, and that's not fair. But I'm never going to penalize or discredit Shador for being true to himself. That's what's really the crutch behind this whole slide. He's being himself. You know what I'm saying? He gonna tell you what he feel. He ain't gonna sugarcoat it. And his dad was the same way. So why would you expect anything else different from his son? You know what I mean? And if he didn't,
Wouldn't you want a conference? Go ahead. Go ahead. I ain't mean to cut it off.
No, go ahead.
Wouldn't you want a confident quarterback as
Yeah.
as your start? I would.
Yes. Yes. Now, if you wanted to say, hey, he wasn't graded that high on our board or whatever the case may be, okay, that's your organization, that's your scout. I understand that, but evidently here, you're telling me that Tyler Shuck, Jackson Dart, Shuck is 26 years old. He's going to be, by the time he gets ready to roll, he's going to be 27. Not saying that age is a big thing in the NFL nowadays, but before he becomes a season, get really good in the league, he's going to be 28 years old. And by the time Shador gets in the league, he's going to be 20, what, 4, 25, 24? So that's a 4-year difference, man. Like some point, what are we doing? You're penalizing that young man for being Deion Sanders' son. Because he
really,
came
really, what did Dion do anyway?
Deion talked. But when he talked, but guess what he did, Andre, when he talked? You won't throwing the ball that way, though. He backed up everything that he said. You know what I'm saying? He backed up everything that he said he was going to do, and he did it. It's like when this man told you, everybody know the infamous story when he got on the phone with the Giants or whoever the team was that called and said that, hey, we might be picking them. He was like, you know what? Don't even worry about it because I'm not even going to be there when you pick me or whatever. That's prime. That's him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what you got. He won't there for y'all when y'all were picking. He was already bought a house in Atlanta. When that was going down, man. So I mean, I just prime being prime and what he said at the beginning of the draft cycle last year that hey, my son gonna be a top 3 pick and yeah, man, they just rubbing they just throwing smut on that man's name right now. And I hope I don't know where he's gonna go. I really don't know. Like you said, the Rams or Vegas could be the ideal spot. But if you look behind them, every other team has their quarterback right now. Seattle, Denver, Tennessee, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, Chargers, Chicago, Carolina. Everybody has their QB1. So it's kind of spooky, but man, like Sanders' tape, yes. Is it perfect tape? No. Do he hold the ball a whole lot in the pocket? Yes. Is his average time to throw 2.67? Yes, that's a little high. But like I said, if his name wasn't Sanders on the back of his jersey, he would have been gone by pick 15 yesterday.
And the tape don't lie.
It don't.
Over 4,000 yards, 37 touchdowns, the school record there. Like, I don't know, man. We talked about the James Pierce pick at 26 with Atlanta. At 27, I had Malachi Starks going. Where did I had him going to Minnesota, I do believe, but the Ravens pick him up. Malachi Starks out of Georgia safety. It seems like a Ravens pick.
Mm-hmm.
Defensive tackle Tyleik Williams going to Detroit. That was a good pick for them. They needed that. They need that interior pass rush. They need somebody to stop the run. So that was a good pick for them as well. Offensive tackle Josh Connerly going from Oregon going to Washington. They need that.
Yes. I think so once again, Commanders they're not the same old Commanders. They're doing things the right way. Adam Peters coming over from San Francisco. You hit your lottery ticket last year. Now you got to put some chips around your lottery ticket. You got to put some. You got to put some security blanket around them. So think about it, man. You coming in with Tunsil as your left tackle. Is Connolly going to play right tackle? You got your you got your book. You got your interior with Cosme. Hey man, they going for it, man. They're definitely going for it. And I like the pick from the Commanders yesterday. I
And
do like it.
I thought that line held up for what it was. Jaden Daniels, he made the most out of what it was. Now you add him, and if he can be developed right, Commander's gonna be a problem for years, man. They are already gonna be a problem for years with that quarterback.
Hey man, just the NFC East alone.
All the Giants got to do is catch up.
That's it. Be
That's it.
competent.
Yeah, you got the pass rush. All you need, you got the receiver. Malik Neighbors went over 1,000 yards. Like I said, all you need is the quarterback.
Absolutely.
At number 30, in a pick that I thought Buffalo really needed was the cornerback position. They went with Maxwell Harrison, cornerback out of Kentucky. He was like probably cornerback 2 or 3 to a lot of people's position rankings, but I like this pick right here for them. They need that.
Oh yeah, they need that, man. They Damar Hamlin, he's played some safety. He gets some versatility or whatever the case may be. But we know that's not a long term answer. They're just gearing up for one team. They're gearing up for one team. You have to, because when you got number 15 in Kansas City, you got to do everything you can to gear up to beat them. And they took Maxwell Harrison in the first round. They came back in the second round here and took T.J. Sanders from South Carolina, another guy on the injury to get some pass rush. So you can see Joey Bosa, Gregory Rousseau, AJ Epinesa, my boy from Houston, Ed Oliver. So you see what they're putting emphasis on this offseason. Hey man, we gotta go get 15. If we want to get to where we get to and shake this monkey off Josh Allen back, gotta go get 15.
They had a pretty solid defense, just that pass rush. They weren't getting to that quarterback like talking about.
And they had Von Miller too. I forgot about Von playing sparingly for him.
Yeah.
Marco's great.
At number 31, the Eagles doing Eagles things. Howie Roseman is the GM of this century right here.
Bro, his gold jacket should be made right now. Right now. Because it amazes me, and I'm not saying that Kansas City wouldn't have took him at 32 or whatever, 31. But it amazes me, man, how teams who letting players like Jahad Campbell status slip to like teams like this. Like, I know you're going to pick Jahad Campbell's a top 20 pick in this year's draft, but medical reasons, you let him slip past Tampa Bay, and Howard just sitting there in the back. That's okay. All right, let's keep moving, and boom, go get him. They swapped the spot with Kansas City because they knew Kansas City weren't going to take him. They need tackle more than anything else on this planet. And you let him swoop in and become an Eagle.
So if they know that Kansas City is not going to take him, then why even do that?
Because they got so many picks, man. They don't need all those picks, bro. They just give those picks. They got like charity because everything is set. The secondary is set. Your front seven is set. You got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert if he's still there. You got the best running back in the game. You got the best O-line in the game. All of those picks that if Philly actually picked all those picks, how many of those draft picks outside of the third round make the roster? If we're being honest.
True, because really out of a whole draft class is maybe like what 3, maybe 4 starters.
If you get 3 starters out of a draft class, you had a good draft.
Right.
But how we having a trove chest of picks, it was like, okay, let me just give you a little something to get it off my plate because guess what? They got comp picks coming next year, so they have to kind of like let them. It's like Howie's picks are like monopoly money. I can go wherever I want to, get whatever I need. If I wanted to trade up to 8 and get Jalen Walker, he could have did that with no problem. Only because the Panthers would have been so desperate, or whoever else would have been so desperate to recoup picks to replenish their roster. How we got monopoly money in Philadelphia if we've been, if we've been honest.
The Jets took Mason Taylor.
I just seen it. Like it.
And the 49ers go with Alfred Collins from Texas, another defensive lineman.
So what did we say when we talked about Michael Williams? What did we say? Hey, they're getting younger on defense because they know that balloon is coming. 13 won his bag. 13 won his bag. And Andre, look out for the Colts. They need a quarterback. Richardson not it. It's TBD, man. But right now, it's not looking too great for Anthony Richardson. Even when you got to bring in Daniel Jones for competition, man, it ain't looking too good. So I don't see them doing quarterback this year. Maybe if the AR-15 experiment don't go as planned this year, or the Daniel Jones experiment don't go as planned this year, I could definitely see them doing quarterback in 2026. Great pick for the 49ers. Yes, man, I agree with you. Great pick for the 49ers.
And that's remember we talked about that quarterback development issue. When you take that quarterback that had that much limited starts in college, when he had 13 starts.
13.
And then you just drafted him off potential.
Yes. And one of my homeboys, he's a big Florida Gator fan, a huge Florida Gator fan, and he told the guys in the group chat that we in, he was like, yo, they're making a mistake taking him where they take him. And you know what I mean? At the time, I'm like, man, let that boy shine, man. But, actually, he was right, man. He wasn't ready yet. And then you had the old Bucks coach come out and say he needed 2 more years of school. I can't think of my boy name right now. Bruce Arians said he needs 2 years of school. So, I mean, yeah, man, he wasn't ready. It was a project. But man, we'll see after this season.
Yeah, and in the last pick, we kind of actually got that one correct. Offensive tackle Josh Simmons. Yep. It's out of Ohio State, and the Chiefs needed that one. So you see how Patrick Mahomes is looking in the Super Bowl. So I think that was a good pick right there, man.
Yeah, man. That almost was a Cowboys got Donovan as a Raku. I like that. That was a no brainer for the Chiefs because if the Eagles had Mahomes running around like they was getting chased by Baby D when he slid that cookie there in the windshield, all over the place. Yeah, man. So that was a no brainer to me. They had to do something on the offensive line, man. They had that boy doing bobs and weaves and everything. So it only makes sense. And I wouldn't be surprised here in round 2, wherever they pick, they double dip and explore offensive line again as well.
Need all you can get.
Oh my God. Michael Parsons is a rock you. Okay, Dallas. I see the vision.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy right there. I had Ezraku going to the Lions, right?
Yeah, we did. And they went Tyleik Williams. Yep, sure did.
The Colts on the clock now. So not Tyler, Luther Burden going to the Bears. This is big, man. Let's just go through round 2. I ain't gonna pronounce none of these names right. Some of these names right.
Yeah, I'm gonna need which comment from me. Their pronunciation.
Pick 33, the Browns select linebacker Carson Schlesinger from UCLA. Jaden Higgins, wide receiver out of Ohio State. I like him. He went to the Texans, so it gives CJ another weapon.
Oh, he went to Houston?
Yeah, he went to
Right.
Houston.
Because they traded with the Giants to come back. Okay. All right. Makes sense now. Okay.
So that they're not sure about what the Tank Dell in his situation. So I think that's a good addition right there. Plus they already added what's my man Christian Kirk. They traded for him, so they're adding to the wide receiver room. Nick Eamon to the Seattle Seahawks.
Such a Seahawks pick, man. He just Cam Chancellor vibes to me. Such a Seahawks pick.
Why does every Seattle coach seem the same?
It just
Well, Pete Carroll, he was defense, and then now Mike McDonald, he's defense too. So they got the same philosophy.
yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know, but I like the pick though.
At 36, the Browns select Quashawn Juggins from Ohio State. I like that one. Nick Chubb is not on an NFL roster, bro.
Nah, man, he's not on NFL roster, and I think he'll be a late camp ad for somebody, only because he's had his knees, bro. His knees just as bad as
Yeah.
mine right now, man. If not worse, man. So,
Do you know how to pronounce the Jonah?
Savanitz, yep, that guy right there.
I give you an award for your pronunciation, brother. Out of Arizona, went to the Dolphins. So that they needed that. Get everything that you need. Travion Henderson to the Patriots, and Rob Johnson. Shout out Rob Johnson because he actually texted me while we was on. He said the Patriots are not playing, and they're not.
No, man, because if you think about their offseason, they went out and signed Diggs. You get Drake May. He got a wide receiver one now. He had a bona fide left tackle. They probably double dip again on tackle here or guard here soon. And then you already got what's my homeboy name there in the backfield already? I can't think of his name right now, but Ramondre Stevenson. Then you come back and get some lightning with Travion Henderson, man. So they're supporting the quarterbacks. And one thing I do like about this draft, man, that if you have a young franchise quarterback, teams are going to support you for sure, man. So
Colts went defensive to Moore that TJ
18 to him allowed.
JT, yeah, from Ohio State. That's a good pick too.
Mm-hmm.
Running down, so we said Luther Burden to the Bears. That's a good pick. Tyler Shuck to the Saints. So now, who's the Saints quarterback? Why am I blanking on his name? Saints head coach.
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore. So now Kellen Moore is putting his faith in Tyler Shuck. Took a second round pick on him. So evidently, that's your guy. Of course, we talked about TJ Sanders going to Buffalo from South Carolina, Mason Taylor going to the Jets, Alfred Collins going to the 49ers, and Donovan Ezaraku going to Boston College. And I'm interested to see what the Rams do here because the Rams stay drafting well, developing well.
They say bump them picks. So
Raiders get Sanders with the 48th pick. They got to. If not, it's going to be a long draft for him.
I agree with you, Andre. It's going to be a long one if we don't go here. I agree, but I mean, to me being a Raiders fan, Andre, I'm going to address this right now while we still here live. If you didn't take Shador or trade back up into the first round to get Shador, with the 5th-year option, there was no point of taking him in the second round because you're losing a year of ownership contractually with the player. If you were going to take him, you would have took him in the back end of round 1. And plus, me speaking for my team, we have too many holes to fill to be taking a quarterback with these high picks. Now we traded back with Miami when they took Jonas Savania at pick 37, so we gained an extra third, which is 98th overall pick. So now I can see us taking a quarterback in the third round. Will Howard be there? The way it's going, Jalen Miro is going to be there because everybody that's picking, besides the Rams, have a legit, think about it, a quarterback that had quarterback questions going into the draft. The Saints got the Saints got Tyler Shuck. Uh, the Giants got Jackson Dart. Not Giants, but the Giants got Jackson Dart. The Titans got Cam Ward. So where are the landing spots for Shador or Miro? Is it Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh's a spot, but they're so in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes right now. They at the altar with him. They don't know what's going to happen. So I can only see this thing taking up. If we do take a quarterback, it's going to be Miro or somebody else, Will Howard in the fourth round. Yeah, man. We'll see.
Miller just seems like one of those. I know he's a project, but it just seemed like him and Anthony Richardson kind of fall in that same. Like if you don't take the time to actually develop him right, it could be just another disaster. Now, if you do, and I was going to use Shane Steichen as an example because Shane Steichen, he developed Herbert. He helped develop Herbert and Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if he's able, that's why I was thinking like if Anthony Richardson could get around him, like it feel like it could work. But I mean, we'll see what happens this year because it's a very big year for him. If not, then it's time for Colts to look for another quarterback.
Absolutely. I hope it should do a spot right here. I could be wrong, but I hope so. Because if it don't go right here, man, it's gonna get real spooky. Now let's Pittsburgh come up and do something. It might get spooky. But yeah, great draft so far. Pretty much everything's pretty much how I expected it to go. Offensive, defensive line, heavy. Terrence Ferguson. Oh yeah, I ain't thinking.
Oh man,
I think he was a second round prospect though. But hey, excuse me, I ain't mad at it.
He would have been nice in Denver.
Yeah, man. Oh God.
6'5", 247.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That boy look like Brock Bowers out there. Yeah, man. Yeah. He look like he can play.
Oh wow.
Look at this. Oh, Lee.
Is he gonna be a late?
Yeah.
But we're gonna check the rest of this draft out, man, and hopefully our teams can make us happy, as well as everybody else's teams out there that's watching. Thank you guys for watching, tuning in, liking, sharing, commenting, whatever you're doing. Great draft so far, and we'll be looking forward to seeing what else happens, man. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, man. The Shador watch is on. Let's see what happens, man. We picking here with the next pick. Because we all know the draft is the meat and potatoes of the draft is second and third round. That's where you find starters on your team in the second and third round. So I like the approach that we're taking, man. And I'm just happy to see what the rest of round 2 and round 3 have for us in store. And of course, we have some content. We're gonna roll out starting next week with draft grades and yeah, man, we're getting close to the schedule release. So y'all just doing the lookout for us. We're gonna come hit y'all 2 times a week, 3 times if possible. Life be life, and people got other obligations and priorities. But yes, stay tuned, stay locked in with us. I appreciate every one of y'all tuning in. Comments, Andre, comment. I appreciate the love and the rapport and the questions and the going back and forth. Anybody's welcome to come and sit down and join us for 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours, man. second that goes by is really appreciated, from the both of us. Yeah, man. Hope everybody have a good night. Enjoy the rest of this draft, and let's see what the weekend holds for us.
Cardinals got Will Johnson.
I'm sick. I'm sick because I thought he might be there for us. But hey, listen.
Remember they took Garrett. They took Garrett Williams from Syracuse last year.
Mm-hmm. We traded back again. Ooh.
Wow. Hey, man. Oh man.
So who's there that we keep trading back for? And what are we getting? Are we getting multiple third-round picks? Because if that's the case, this is getting interesting. Like, I'm trying to pick and go to bed. They people, and I got to stay up and stuff.
Oh man! But thank you to everybody tuning in. Andre, I don't know about the Lakers tonight. The Lakers will probably be watching me, man. But yeah, man. Shout out to Gail Mercer too.
Yes.
And hoping that Shador gets picked tonight. That's her guy. So, but shout out to everybody out there that's watching, liking, sharing. We'll see you guys pretty soon.
Yes, sir.
We could come to you tomorrow. I mean, you never know. But appreciate y'all watching, and until then.